All right, today I'm gonna have my natural gas meter tapped. So here's my side of the meter, and this is everybody else's. And as gas comes in from the provider, goes along these loops of pipes, and on this side it goes to my building. So I found a spot. I'm not sure what quite this is, but I believe my plumber said that this was just like an access point where they pressurize the system to make sure that there isn't any leaks in the building, and then after they pressurize it, they just cap this off. So this is just like a service port. So I'm going to use this and I build a my own setup here. So that's going to get tapped in there like that, okay, and this end is the quick connect fitting, and I'm going to leave that service port on top of here, so just that way if the gas company wants to test the system again, at least that's not blocked off. I'm just keeping it there for them. So in a few minutes, plumber's gonna come in and have this tapped, and this is gonna be set up for natural gas. Your setup may not be as simple as mine, but you get the general idea on how it gets connected into your meter. All right, so while we wait for a plumber to hook up the natural gas right at the meter, we're gonna get into the kit that I've just finished up here. Before I get ahead of myself, for those who are wondering about our channel and this video, this is part 3 of the natural gas conversion for the Predator 5000. And I know folks have been waiting for this video for a while. I do apologize. There has been some issues I had to contend with on this kit. There's more things I'm going to explain today of what I found out. But overall, the kit is finished finally, and I'll get in a little bit more into detail of this kit. All right, here's the finished product. And this bracket is what took the longest, and so I had to get it powder coated, designed, formed, and such. This base plate here is made from thick steel. It has some good weight to it. I've also made this bracket here, so not only that this regulator gets attached from these 2 mounting points here, it also gets boxed in with this bracket here, so that way if the regulator has some load from side to side, or if you drop it, you're not going to break off this mounting point here because it's boxed in from right here. Okay, so it has good rubber feet. It's very durable. All right, and this powder coat paint is extremely durable. So I believe when I had this thing powder coated, I requested that the type of powder coat I wanted to use, and the powder coat I wanted to use was just about the same powder that was used in farm equipment. So one example would be like the kind of powder coating you see on lawn mowers, weed whackers, riding mowers, and agricultural equipment. This is the type of powder coat that I use, so it's extremely durable. And what I mean about that is, so if you look at this Harbor Freight toolbox, and this has been a recent purchase, and the type of powder coat they use compared to the one that I have here, so it's not all powder coating is the same, and this is what I mean. So if you look at here, this is when I just pulled it out of the box. See that? There is hardly any wear and tear on this lid here, and it's already peeling. I'm not going to complain since this is purchased at Harbor Freight. It's a U.S. general product. I'm not going to expect this to be like snap-on quality. So if you use cheap powder coating, that happens. This is really good powder coating. So I don't skimp out on making these kits. All right. So and the way this mounts onto the generator is you can tuck this underneath the wheel of the generator. So I'm gonna bring this here. Excuse me, I'm just a little bit under the weather today, so just bear with me. You lift up this generator here, and this wheel tucks in between this cavity here. And when it does that, it won't move anywhere. Or if you don't want, you can just leave it like this. and you can have the demand regulator stand upright. Okay, so really nice finish to this. So here it is, all with its hoses and so forth. These will be pre-adjusted for each fuel depending on what you request, and the accessories that come with it. And the other part of our video will show what you will get with the kit. Okay. All right. So on part 1 of the video, I mentioned something about the quick connect here. So here is the factory Predator 5000 quick connect. I actually had to swap it out with a different one. And coming over to our workbench here, I'll explain why we had to swap it out. So here's the quarter-inch quick connect from MB Sturgis that I thought would work, and I also thought that it would work on every quarter-inch quick connect. I was wrong. So here's what I found out. So this quick connect goes with this male end quick connect. So this is a female, this is a male, and here's a male, right? And here's a female. This is the regulator assembly off the Predator 5000. This is what you get in the box, okay? So if you look here, there's a problem. One is shorter than the other. Let's just forget about the threads back here, but we'll just focus here on the front. So one is a little shorter than the other. They have something called a full flow and access flow quick connect. So this just look here. So this right here I purchased on Amazon. I just hid the names here. I just didn't want to advertise their company because these are not the correct ones for this kit. So here's what I mean about it. So when I mentioned there are multitude of quarter-inch quick connects on the market, things doesn't look to be standardized. So if you look right here, see how this is rounded and this is not, okay? And if you look here down the middle, see how it's not fully, I would say full flow. And if you look at this, it goes all the way through, whereas this is not. That's a problem. Okay, so one, I'm starting to think that Harbor Freight is making this. I can't even find this. This is probably proprietary to Harbor Freight. And if you see here, that's too short. And so that's one issue. Another issue is the one that's on Harbor Freight is full flow, and the other one is called access flow. Not sure why they call that, but this is just kind of that's like a restrictive flow. So that was no good. And another part, I thought that this would actually plumb into that. It's not going to work. So here's the one in the other video, sourced from my own supplier. He was able to manage to find something that's also UL listed. I'm not sure how he was able to find this, but it was a miracle when I was able to find it. They're different. That's different. This is different. Not only that, this is different. So that lip on the inside here pushes that little button on the inside. So if you have something like this, that won't even lock in. Okay. I'm trying to push it. That won't lock in. But this one will. So that's because that lip on the inside, that ledge, pushes up against that one button on the inside. And once that button on the inside is depressed, then it allows fuel to flow past this quick connect and out this side. But the funny thing is that this will work with that just fine. But this will not work with this, or this, or this. Well, excuse me. The ones that don't have the little lip on the inside will not work with this. But will work with that just fine. See that? It's frustrating because you're trying to find the correct quick connect for your, let's say, your RV or travel trailer or so forth, and you're running into a multitude of different kind of connections that's offered on the market, which makes it really frustrating. And that's an issue that I had with this kit. So as soon as I purchased this and I was trying to plug it in the generator, when they had this in there, I was like, well, so what's going on? Why is it such an issue? I'm looking at it. So that was an issue, and this was an issue for this quick connect. So I couldn't use this. So then I had to go back to this, and how I was able to find it in the first part of the video is because this was just purchased randomly somewhere on the internet, because I thought they were all the same. So, and I was like, okay, it'll work fine. Yeah, I guess it didn't. And this one is actually different from this. So nothing is standardized in this market, which is crazy. So I guess it's like when you try to build your own kit for the Predator 5000, you almost have to get matching quick connects. If you don't, it's not gonna work. So I'll show you again on the differences of the quick connects offered in various markets. So this is the one off the Champion, and this is the first part of the video that I mentioned. We'll pull part one. See how that's different. This is different. This is different because it has rounded edges on here compared to that, and this is the shorter one. They're all different. This seems to be a full port. That's a full port. Not a full port. Not a full port. Full port, but short. But luckily I was able to get this, and it will work with all of these. That works. Try the Predator 5000. This is the factory Predator 5000 that comes on that generator. Works just fine. Works. And works. This will not work on any of these unless it has that ledge on the inside. Extremely frustrating. So I went ahead and got this, and funny thing is, and I was kind of curious, so where's I'm gonna try to find the original here. That one goes there. This is that one. That one goes there. So this came together as a pair. All right, so this goes to this. It came as a pair. Then I noticed it's shorter. So when I ran this on propane, I was trying to get more power out of running on propane with this female quick connect under this factory Predator 5000 quick connect. And I was like, so I'm trying to richen the fuel mixture. There are some issues with it running and so forth, and when I'm trying to extract more power out of it, but when I was but under normal circumstances I was able to get 3600 watts out of it, which is a factory rated power. Went on propane just fine. When I tried to increase it more, it was running a little bit weird. So, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna pop this in there and see what happens. And after I swapped this out with this, the generator actually made a little bit more power, which is quite odd. And I realized, so when I plug this in here, see that button on the inside? I know it's kind of hard to see with my camera. This was actually, because this is shorter, it was only pushing against that button and disengaging that valve halfway. With the longer stem on this, it was able to fully open up that valve on the inside and allow more fuel to enter the generator, thus producing a little bit more power. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. So when it's shorter, it's only opening up the valve on the inside halfway, where I was using this factory one that came with this as a pair. It was able to open the valve on here fully, which I was able to get about 200 or 300 more watts out of the generator compared to running this. This is, you can leave this in the generator and run it as is. It's not a big issue, but when I tried enriching up the fuel mixture in there, according to my 5-gas analyzer, it wasn't stable when I went beyond the 3600 running watts on the generator. But with this, because it's full port and it has a longer stem to open up the valve on the inside of this female quick connect, it ran much better. And I was like, man, this is stupid. All right, so my next video was going to show you how to remove this and install this. Do you have to remove this to install this? No, you don't have to. It seems to run fine under you know, the type of wattage that I was able to get out of this, which is 3600 running watts. But I was actually able to get a full 3900 running watts when I ran this instead of this. So now on every kit that comes to you, it's going to have this quick connect that I've got, okay? So even though, let's say that you were to take this out and swap it with this, and you wanted to use a factory regulator assembly, this will work just fine. All right, so got it. Finally was able to finish up the kit, and I was able to solve all this crap that I had to go through. All right, heading outside. Looks like the plumber came by and finished up installing the quick connect onto my meter, and looks like he did a fantastic job. He left me with this, and he was able to apply some kind of an enamel coating on there, and it dried and it looks great. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the generator into this meter and show you how it runs. Before I go back out, I thought I might just mention this, and I do get a lot of questions about the shutoff valve. So the shutoff valve that I use is this one I purchased from my local hardware store, and what I found from my local hardware store is very rare. So this is a locking ball valve, and I was able to purchase a padlock on here and have it. So when I'm not in use, I just lock it up. If you want to, so if you want to turn it, bring the lock up, and bring the valve towards you. So it's gonna, I can't do it one-handed, but you get the idea. So you can have it in the open position, bring it back down and lock it in the open position. Right now it's in the open position. If you want to have it in the off position and lock it, you can do that as well. My local inspector, he liked this a lot. He liked the locking valve, and the reason is because sometimes you have kids running around the house, and well, I have, you know, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and they're very curious at everything. And my 2-year-old likes levers and knobs and switches. So for me, locking this ensures that he's not going to be turning this on or off when it shouldn't be on or off. Okay, so this is just I know it's not foolproof. It's just tamper resistant. Okay, so it's just something that's nice to have. I just wanted to show you guys. If you don't see one in your local area, if you don't have one around town, just send me an email. I can just drop by my hardware store, and if you guys want this with your order, just let me know. All right. So my plumber mentioned to me something that I've might as well mention this to you guys, is that when you select your own type of pipe, you go to the hardware store and there's something called black steel pipe, and there's one that's galvanized. Do not purchase the galvanized piping. And my plumber told me the reason why you don't want to purchase the galvanized piping is because over time that zinc coating, or the coating that's on these fittings, will start to flake off internally, and it'll clog all the orifices in your furnace or any other appliances in your house. Because over the years that coating will flake off. You just want raw steel. Okay, so the black piping is the one that's preferred. You prefer to use on natural gas. Don't use anything else. Just use black steel piping, like as it mentions here. Then you can go ahead and paint this, and this is you don't have to use this brand, but this is the one that my plumber used, and it dries up really nice. So right now this is just the gloss smoke gray, the Rust-Oleum. There's other brands as well, but this is really nice, and you don't need a big bottle to do it. I think this he said this was only like $7. So just food for thought. All right, I connected everything to the outlet here. And we'll go ahead and turn it on. Make sure the generator on button and switch is on, excuse me. ESC, excuse me, is in the off position. That's in propane. Okay, everything's secure. Prime it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Hit the start button. Starts up great. Let me see if the ESC throttle works. Idles down. Idles down, perfect. So here's how the bracket sits underneath the wheel. You don't have to have it underneath the wheel, but I like it underneath the wheel, so that way this is not going to go anywhere. This is the fuel adjustment here. So I'm going to turn off the generator so you guys can hear me better. You actually want to shut it off here. Turn this off. So this is a fuel gauge for propane and natural gas. Right now we have it set at natural gas. So how you want to set this up is when you back out the screw from natural gas, you have to butt it up against that fuel gauge like so. Okay. So in the next part of the video, I'll show you how to set it up for natural gas or propane, and the 1, 2, 3, 4 is for the altitude adjustment, and I'll show you that further in the video. So I just didn't want this video to be too long, and I'll explain that in the install video. Alright guys, if there's any comments or questions, let me know. I'll put the video link below, and just give me a thumbs up, and I appreciate it. Thanks guys.